I should be writing number 481 for Friday, February 7th, 2020.
But I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hi there, welcome to I Should Be Writing, the podcast for wannabe fiction writers. I'm your host, Mur Lafferty. And at this point, I'm stopping trying to backdate. I'm just going to do the podcast, date it, and put it up. I'm stressing out too much about other things and don't need to stress out about this too. So, today we are going to another question brought up by the Discord. If you want to join the Discord of I Should Be Writing, it requires only a $5 a month pledge on the Patreon, which is patreon.com/mightymur. So you pledge at $5 and you come and hang out with other writers of similar mindset. Basically, everyone's trying to write, be creative, and get published. It gets funny, it gets helpful, it gets supportive. That's what we're doing. So, we do have one of the text channels in Discord called Podcast Suggestions. So, Rustex says, how about talking about how invaluable it is to have writer friends around your same level? How important it can be to make friends at conventions? I had a discussion about this recently, and the person basically said he didn't plan on making friends with unagented or unpublished writers when he didn't have an agent himself. He felt it wouldn't be helpful to his career, and he should focus on making friends with published authors and trying to talk to agents and pitch them. Now, see, this is where it gets awkward when I suggest people network at conventions. Because what I'm really saying is go and meet people who are like you and have the same ambitions as you and talk about the things that you enjoy. Basically, if this were kindergarten, it would be go make friends. And it sounds like what Rustex is talking about is they're taking the network advice as go look for the person who's most likely to help your career, kiss up to them, and ignore everyone else. You never, ever, ever know who can help your career. Never. You never know who will be at a position. If you have in your head a hierarchy of things, of people who where you are in your career and where they are in your career, and it's not good to do that, but I've done it before. I'm not proud, but I'm being honest. Not saying I judged people, but I thought, okay, that person is not as far along in their career as I am, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you this, and I will not name names, and no, I won't tell you who it is if you ask me privately. Because I really do like and respect this person far too much to admit this horrible thing. But many years ago, like over 10 or so, late 2000s, I was at a convention with an author who was talking about their struggling career, finishing a story, whatever, and I was trying to, give the whole I should be writing buck up little camper speech, and thinking that I was much further ahead of my career than they were, and well, they're winning awards now. I'm being nominated. Haven't, I've won a couple, but for their writing, they are highly prized and honored, and just, yeah, they're. If I were still doing the hierarchy, I would definitely place them way above me. So, you never, ever, ever know who's going to be where at what point. We always compare ourselves to others, but this is one of those reasons why you don't want to, because you never know what's going to happen to your career or someone else's. You might see somebody you really admire, and then someday be in a position to help them out. The author Ken Liu is one of the most humble people I've ever met. He is freaking brilliant. He's one of the best short story writers alive today. And many years ago, he submitted a reprint to Escape Pod. And my thought was, holy crap, a Ken Liu reprint? Reprint? Yes, please. And this is like, it's a reprint. It's not a lot of money. And it's just like, it shocked me with how grateful he was. He was just like, oh, that's great news. Thank you so much. And I'm like, you're Ken Liu. You're doing me a favor. But no, Ken was very grateful that we wanted to pick up his story. And that really made an impact on me. I'm just like, wow, that's really classy. So it's the whole joke of, you'll see people on the same, on the way up or on the way down, or, I think I went on a big tangent there. I'm sorry. It was mainly just that, you will probably find people who, you'll probably naturally gravitate toward the people who are on your level. Because you'll end up in the same chat rooms or the same mailing lists or whatever, because you're people looking for the same thing. You're looking for the same color of Easter egg. And while you sure would like to search for the golden Easter egg, you're not going to find it, so you're not going to be looking over there. And this metaphor's falling apart, but I'm just saying that when I was at Bible Paradise in 2006, we were told that one of the best things we would be getting out of that experience was finding people who were like us at our level in our careers, and we could stay in touch and stay, together and follow each other's careers and support each other. And I've lost touch with most of my friends from Bible Paradise, except for John Chu, who won the Hugo for Best Short Story a couple of years ago. I'm very honored to call John Chu a friend from my Bible Paradise days. He's a good guy and frighteningly talented. But it's like, you want to talk to people at cons. If there's somebody you want to meet them. But don't specifically say, I'm going to avoid people like X because they're not going to help me at all. They're not going to do anything for me. Well, let's say you're unagented and person X is unagented and you blow them off. Let's say person X is happening to be hanging out with an agent that you don't know, so you didn't know that they were hanging out with an agent. And then they sign with the agent, and they could think, the agent say, hey, I'm looking for more clients. Who could you recommend? Well, they're probably not going to think of you because you're blowing them off, and they don't know enough about you to realize that you're on the same career path. It's like, really, just one thing when I was doing a lot more interviews, one thing I did with this show is ask people advice to give to new writers. And after several years, I was getting a lot of the same stuff. But I remember there's a local writer named James Maxey. And I interviewed him, and he gave me one of the most surprising bits of advice. And that was, be kind. Because, again, you never know. Not only do you not want to make a reputation for being a jerk, but you don't ever know how your actions will help or hurt you in the future. So you might as well be nice. And I'm not saying be a pushover, and I'm not saying let people treat you poorly. I'm just saying don't blow anybody off because you think they might be less successful than you. That's unkind, and that's, you might be harming your own career. So, Rustex, you had the right reaction to this guy, because as Rustex finished their comment, friends around my own level have pushed me. We've all grown together and learned together. If we hear about opportunities, we share that info. The advice and friendship I've enjoyed from published authors is awesome, but we have a little trouble empathizing when we vent to each other, and everyone needs people they can commiserate with. Well, you kind of just answered your own question, but at least I got a good show out of it. So yes, your mindset was right. I think your friend is going to either piss somebody off along the way, or miss opportunities, or just, die friendless and alone, because if that's how you approach talking to people, it's going to get lonely and sad. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but I stand by the sentiment. So, you can see the blog and show notes at merverse.com. You can email me at mightymer@gmail.com. You can support the Patreon, which would help me out so much if you support at even $1 a month at patreon.com/mightymer. It is the end of the week. I hope you have a good weekend. I hope you have a productive weekend. I hope I do too. And I'll see you hopefully on Monday, because you should be writing. Remember, you can support the show at patreon.com/mightymer. I Should Be Writing theme music provided by John Emilio. You can find more about him at johnemilio.com. This podcast is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license.